Good evening and welcome to the show. Tonight, we're talking about one of my favorite topics that we have never discussed on the channel until now. I think that this news is incredibly shocking. Nobody who is a fan of this band was expecting it. And I kind of want to just sort of, take a look at the statement. We've done that from time to time where we take a look at, PR statements and, assess how a band handles something, this, that, and the other. There's a lot to unpack with this situation. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to try to unpack some of that stuff tonight. I have always loved the Pixies. I wouldn't, a different sort of, fanaticism, fandom than say my love for, the Misfits or the Beatles or Sublime or any of the other bands that we, or the Ramones that we avidly talk about here on the channel. And I've wanted to talk about the Pixies in some sort of meaningful way. And I just, I don't even know where to begin. But this news is so, ginormous that it just felt like, okay, maybe this is the place to start, on the channel if we want to do more. Talking about Paz from the Pixies. I've never said Paz's last name out loud before. Is it Lenchantin? Lenchantin. I love that. It's a great name, Lenchantin. There's probably sort of a more accented way to say it than my my block letter angular English pronunciation of Lenchantin. Maybe it's like Lenchantin, something like that. She's Argentinian. All right, the Pixies. The interesting thing about the Pixies is the fact that they're, in addition to everything that Black Francis is bringing to the table vocally, that it is in dynamic contrast, just in the way that there's a dynamic contrast with the loud, quiet, loud stuff that they do. There's also a dynamic contrast vocally, wherein for everything that Black Francis does, you have this feminine energy that sort of dynamically complements it. Sometimes they lock in together. It's, and it was Kim Deal. Kim Deal was that energy. And Kim and Frank Black, I don't know what to call him. Charles. We'll just call him Frank Black. I feel like Frank Black I know he's Black Francis, but Frank Black works better for me. Kim and Frank would lock in their voices sometimes and sing together, or Kim is sort of backing him up while he's screaming. And it's interesting because the band actually has 3 lead singers. Okay, someone's telling me how to properly say it. It's Lenchantin. I like it's not as great as I was hoping it would be. We'll just call her Paz. There's a third element there, and it comes in the way of Joey Santiago. Here's a hot take for you. Joey Santiago is actually the third lead singer of the Pixies, except he doesn't sing with his voice. He sings with his guitar, and his guitar is sort of matches the sonic ferocity of Frank Black's, screams. He makes his guitar scream, in contrast, that kind of thing. So there's really 3 lead singers in the Pixies, 3 singers. I guess you wouldn't call Paz a lead singer per se, even though she sings lead on a few songs, in the same way that Kim sang lead on a few songs. Kim sang lead on Gigantic, obviously, Silver, which they didn't do much live until the reunion shows, and Into the White, and there's one more. Oh, in later years, she was doing Lady in the Radiator song. When the band first started out, it was Black Francis, doing, which is actually the version I prefer, I think, even though it's angelic the way, and that's the thing about Kim and her voice. It has there's like an ethereal quality. It's very easy to fall in love with Kim Deal's voice. And I feel like so many of us have fallen in love with Kim Deal's voice. And, part of, there's a great book out there by a guy named Josh Frank. He did an oral history. Oh, Paz. Sorry, not Paz. Paz. Getting corrected left and right here. Thank you. There's a great oral history by a guy named Josh Frank. It came out in 2005, right after the reunion. And, actually, I think I'm long overdue. I read that book nearly 20 years ago. I think it's time to reread it. I think I'm ready. I think it would be kind of good to revisit that. So I'm going to check it out. But, in it, it talks about a lot of the tension between Black Francis and Kim Deal. The band was Frank Black's band, and I keep switching his name left and right, whatever. Frank Black, Charles. We'll just call him Charles. Charles. We'll call him Charles's band. It was Charles's band. We don't know him. I'm sure you would call him Frank Black or Black Francis in his professional setting. But Charles, it was always Charles's band. Charles was the primary songwriter, and Charles was very protective of that. And I always, in reading that book and just like the vibe that I always got from everything that I saw and watched and inhaled about the Pixies, there was always kind of like there seemed to be some sort of, I don't know, jealousy. It was I don't know, maybe it was a kind of a split between jealousy and almost a tension, like a sexual tension between Charles and Kim Deal. And eventually, that led to, whatever, a variety of factors led to an internal strain between Charles and Kim that eventually would, lead over past it, going into the reunion, eventually would lead to Kim leaving the band. She didn't want to be in the Pixies. She didn't want to record new music for whatever reason, whatever was going on. You could dive endlessly. And the reason why I'm saying all of this is to say that the band made a decision. There always had been 4 members of the band, and they made this decision of like, do we continue on as the Pixies without Kim? Can we be the Pixies without Kim? And, prior to 2013, I would have said no. I would have said that's not possible. There's a lot of Kim purists out there that say no Kim, no deal, which is a very tired, kind of stupid saying in my personal opinion. But there are a lot of people out there just like, Kim is so integral to the Pixies. I personally think that the Pixies do exist without Kim as the pick. But here's the thing, the Pixies needed to prove that to us. And the first thing they did was they hired another Kim, which was always such a fuck you to Kim. It was such a subversive message, if you ask me, when they did that, when they had Kim from the Muffs, R.I.P. They had Kim come in, and she had replaced Kim Deal, and they just carried on as if nothing had happened, or no big deal, with a sort of political, hey, the door's always open for Kim Deal if she wants to return, knowing full well that she probably would not want to. And in fact, there were, there's that really could devote an entire episode to just discussing that. But, fact of the matter is that they had been trying to do a new album for a long time. And Kim was sort of, allegedly, Kim was standing in the way of it, or in some way, shape, or form. And a lot of that material, some of that material winded up being Black Francis solo material particularly song like Threshold Apprehension, stuff like that off of Blue Finger. Would end up Do What You Want, Ganeshwar. I believe that was initially supposed to be a Pixie song. They did one Pixie song with Kim at the beginning of the reunion in 2004, and it was fucking amazing. It was called Bamthlock. I love Bamthlock. And it's Kim and Frank kind of doing it dual vocal, but with Kim leading, and Kim, I think, taking the songwriting credit. And it seemed like a real sort of olive branch between Kim and or from Frank to Kim in that kind of way. In any case, when Kim Deal left, they got the second Kim, and there's a great photo spread of Frank Black going like this. He's doing the peace sign as if to say like, peace out, Kim, but it's really just giving her the finger. He's going, fuck you. We got ourselves another Kim. We got ourselves another Joe. They did not quit. They did not quit. And if you listen to Teenager of the Year, you know I'm talking about Two Reelers, baby. They got another Joe, another Joe. They would not quit. They would not quit. So they but the thing was, this Kim, she didn't really work out too well, right? Like the second Kim, she wasn't vibing with the band. She was doing like stage dive moves. She comes from, the world of punk rock and, feeling the energy from the crowd and just doing things that were very unpixie like. These very sort of, the Pixies are like sort of seemingly introverted people in, particularly, I would say particularly Joey Santiago and Charles. Like, I do I actually know that they're introverted? I don't, but seemingly the way that they kind of carry themselves, they're very reserved. They're just very reserved. They don't open up in certain ways. They don't talk much to the crowd. They just get out there and they play songs, which is great too, if you especially want to hear it. And then along came Paz. Paz came along and was just such a breath of fresh air. It's amazing. There was a little resistance. There was a little no Kim, no deal resistance. But for the most part, the fan base, from what I saw at least, just absolutely embraced Paz. We all did. I loved her. I love her. I think she's great. I really thought she was so perfect for that band. She fit with their chemistry and she just worked, and she put in 10 fucking good years, right? She put in 10 years with them. And then just this morning, out of nowhere, right before a big tour, we get this incredibly weak statement from the Pixies. I mean, just a real sort of almost, a lot of people are making the Fax joke today that she was fired by Fax or whatever. And I gotta tell you, this may not be Fax level, but it is. I mean, it's up there, man. It's up there with how like sort of, I mean, it's kind of brutal, and it kind of makes you wonder what on earth happened that she put out a statement like that they put out a statement and that she responded with what she responded with. And we're going to take a look at it right now. And like I said, we're going to read the kind of the tea leaves of the situation. What does that mean? It means we're going to make assumption. We're going to interpret the words and try to build hypotheses and assumptions that you should totally take with a grain of salt, because I'm just a guy on the internet talking out of the side of my neck, okay? Rubbernecking on some band drama from one of my favorite bands. I think I'm entitled to process what happened, what is going on, because I'm upset. I would have I don't know how many times I've seen the Pixies, probably 8 or 9 times now. I don't like to see them on a co-headlining tour. That's a whole other story, because I feel like I don't want to see them open for Modest Mouse. I want to see them do like a 2-hour set or whatever, 90-minute set of just the Pixies. I don't want an hour. I think they each do an hour. Maybe they do 2. Maybe they each do 90 minutes. Still, I don't want to like watch that, and on top of it, the price, the ticket of the ticket is way more expensive because they can charge way more because it's just fucking stupid. I hate the co-headlining tours. I try to avoid them. So I probably wouldn't have even come out on this tour. But I'm glad that I've seen Paz as many times as I've seen her with the band. I've seen the Pixies with Kim twice, and then the rest of the times been with Paz. I probably want to say I've seen them about 8 times now. So, I've had my fill of Pixies as when they come through town, but still it just kind of bums me out. So let's take a look. This is the Rolling Stone, and this is kind of like the updated Rolling Stone. Here's the Rolling Stone article that we're going to look at first. Okay, let me just see if I can pull this up here. We're looking for the Rolling Stone article. All right, there we go. So here is the Rolling Stone article. This is by Andy Green, and it was put out today. Pixies part ways with longtime bassist Paz after a 10-year run. 10 fucking years, and not just 10 years. We're talking hundreds of shows, and we're talking 4 albums and a couple of singles. Okay, that's a lot. We're not talking about some placeholder for Kim Deal. She was a fully functioning leg of the table, man. She was the fourth member. She wrote songs with Charles. She sang lead. She knew the whole catalog. She was a wonderful weapon in their arsenal, truly. And she's gone, and now she's gone. Like, they really did it. It's maybe it's not as quite as significant as losing Kim Deal, founding bass member, and can the band move on? And most importantly, to emphasize, she gave the band second life. Could the other Kim from the Muffs, again, not to speak ill of the dead, could she have given, I know this isn't speaking ill of the dead, it's just the reality, could she have given the same kind of longevity? No. And like I said, it seems like they picked her for as much as her name as maybe they did her being able to play bass, just as a message to Kim to be like, hey, we're going to just keep being the Pixies with another Kim in the band. Such a fuck you. Such a fuck you. The Pixies have parted ways with longtime bassist Paz after a decade-long run with the band. They'll be joined by former Band of Skulls bassist Emma Richardson, who I know nothing about. I'm going to have to check her out, see what her deal is, when they kick off a European tour on March 8th in Dublin, Ireland. The news of Paz's exit from the group came via a curiously dry is right. I mean, it was so dry. It left me with such cotton mouth as I was reading it. A curiously dry statement from the group. We're grateful for Paz's many contributions, they wrote, and wish her all the very best going forward. Ugh. So then Rolling Stone gets an email from Paz, claiming, made clear that the decision was not her own. So here's the twist. She left, but she did not leave. It was not her decision to leave. It sounded like, from what I'm seeing on the internet, it sounds like Paz was fired. Why was she fired? We'll get into that. There are reasons. Sounds like she was fired. Here's her official statement on that she also posted to Instagram. It has been a dream of dreams these past 10 years to have been accepted as a Pixie by the band. And I love how she notes that by the fans, because the fans absolutely embraced her too. And an honor to have contributed to the Pixies' legacy. My departure is a bit of a surprise to me, as it is to many, but it looks like they have a solid plan figured out, which in turn has pushed me to move onwards to new projects that I am excited about. I mean, I have to say, her statement is almost as dry too, but the fact of the matter is like, it's clearly a reaction, but it's also tasteful. She says, to be accepted by the band and by the fans, and an honor to have contributed to the Pixies' legacy. I'd say that's pretty good. She does not thank the band for being in the band. Also, like Sublime, the same thing with Sublime with Rome. Although, again, I don't know. I just don't hold the same acrimony that I do for him, because I feel like she's acknowledging that she, is a piece, a part of the legacy. I don't know. Here's what Fatima says. Is random bow-legged guy, aka bass player for Roman Duddy, filling in for the Pixies too? Just picturing that for the Labs. Oh my God. Cause for Alarm says, original Pixie fan. She was okay. I saw when she first came back in 2014. Wasn't impressed then. Paz was amazing. She was fucking amazing. She filled the role so well. I haven't thought about Kim Deal in 10 years. That's how good Paz was. Okay. And I love Kim Deal. I love her to death, and I respect her, and I love everything that she did for the band that she helped to create, even though it was Charles's band. But make no mistake, Paz picked up the ball, and she absolutely ushered in a second era of Pixies that people will think about as this is the middle era, the middle age of Pixies, from whatever happens here on out. And mind you, there's a whole album's worth of material that's never seen the light of day yet. And probably at this point, I don't know if it will see the light of day. Will they release recordings with Paz on them at this point in time? After we talk about what we're going to talk about. But again, let's read her statement one more time and just she says in a statement, made clear this decision was not her own. It has been a dream of dreams these past 10 years to be accepted as a Pixie by the band, by the fans, and honored to have contributed to Pixie's legacy. My departure is a bit of a surprise to me, as it is to many. And listen, I mean, she's speaking her truth right there. My departure is a bit of a surprise to me. Meaning, here's how I interpret that. Super simple. She was fired. She was straight up fired by the band. She had no intention of leaving, which is what I suspected, because when I went to her Instagram account, because I wanted to see, I was like, there's got to be, I wonder if there's any kind of sign that Paz was thinking about leaving. There's got to be some sort of, inkling that she's bouncing. But check it out. When you go to her here, let's share this tab instead. Check it out. Here's a post that she made on November 19th, 2023. So not very long ago. And she just writes, my band. This is 15 weeks ago. I don't know. I just get the vibe. And again, a single photo doesn't mean anything. But I just get the vibe. I just get the sense. Something in my gut tells me that she had no intention of leaving. She was pushed out. She was pushed out by the band. Now, why was she? And here's her post. Look, here's her post, with the band. It has been a dream. So it's like kind of like it's like, it's a post of love. It has been a dream of dreams these past 10 years. I've been accepted as a Pixies band, and I'm honored to have contributed to the music. I look forward. It's interesting. She does not say, she says it in the Rolling Stone article. She says, while it came to me as a surprise, on here, she keeps it all positive. And that's a classy move. I mean, Paz is pretty classy in this regard. Paz is pretty classy, in my opinion. But again, what are the reasons? Why is that? Why? What happened? Incognito. There we go. Why is it a bit of a surprise to Paz? What could be the reason? Kim Deal played the bass in the Pixies from their founding in 86 until 2013, when she left to focus on her work in the Breeders. And then we had Muff's bassist Kim come in, who passed away in 2019. Very sad. But she was with the group until she decided to stage dive. And then all of a sudden the Pixies were like, oh no. Crazy White Boys it doesn't want anything unless they bring Kim back. Paz had previously played in Zawan, which is Smashing Pumpkins, Billy Corgan's band, and Perfect Circle. Um, in a 2022 Unknown Legends interview with Rolling Stone, Paz said that she was a die-hard Pixies fan as a teenager in the 80s. She was overjoyed when presented with an opportunity to join the band. Charles is the greatest artist I've ever worked with, she said. I used to be like, this is missing in this band and this is missing in this band. But working with Charles, Joey, and David really glued me together and completed me in every way I was looking for. It really is the peak of the mountain. And, she did such a good job. She did such a good job in the band, too. And I'll tell you something, I was not a fan of all of the material. Like, I'm not, for someone, listen, the original catalog for me is like golden, like golden. Every fucking note is golden from Come On Pilgrim all the way through all the fucking B-sides to the very last note of the Navajo No on fucking Trump Lamont. Okay, like I love it all. I fucking love it all, and including Bam Flock, which everybody hates. I love Bam Flock. 50,000 watts of goodwill. I put that line in my latest script. I love it so much. Indie Cindy is a mixed bag. I saw someone online, one of the comments mentioned that it was kind of unfocused. It's unfocused. And Head Carrier, oof, not a fan of Head Carrier. Do not like that group of songs. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere comes Beneath the Eerie, which is a fucking masterpiece, a home run. I mean, again, we could go on and on, but it's cemented for me that Paz is absolutely like just fit so perfectly. They found water found its level, and they found a way to really function as a recording band with Beneath the Eerie, truly. And then Doggerel, which has also left a lot to be desired, if I'm being honest. But I have faith. I just have faith that there's another, or I had faith that there was another Beneath the Eerie somewhere. I mean, you listen to a song like Birds of Prey and you're like, fuck, that is like such a Pixie song. It's so perfectly Pixies, Birds of Prey. And also Los Surfers Muertos, Lone Rider. I mean, just fuck, that is a great album. It's just a great album from beginning to end. Even though I don't like the sequencing of the album, I feel like the sequencing could be a little bit better. But damn, do I love Beneath the Eerie. And so I was like, damn, friggin' Paz, she's good. She's good. She's perfect. Like this is working. This is actually fucking working. And then Doggerel, and now I don't know what will be with this new batch of songs that they did for that second album. Paz first came into the orbit of Pixies in the 90s when guitarist Joey Santiago asked her to tour with his side project, the Martinis. 17 years later, she heard via drummer Josh Freese, who she was in a perfect circle with, that the Pixies were auditioning new bass players. They initially gave the position to the other Kim, but they turned to Paz a few months later. It wasn't working out with Kim for whatever reason, energy-wise, and they called me, Paz told Rolling Stone. They were like, I don't know if you'd still be interested. Sorry. They were kind of apologetic. I was like, of course I'll do that. Yeah. And so she came into the band. From the beginning, her goal was to perfectly recreate Deal's original bass parts and vocal harmonies. I want to do it like the record, she said. Sometimes I'll hear live shows where she isn't even doing it exactly like the record, or there's differences with the harmonies or some of the notes she's hitting. I'll also use live things she's done. I do a combination of things. Everything that I've played from this point has been influenced by her playing. So I love that. And she wrote a song that's dedicated on Head Carrier. All I Know Is Now or something. And, the beautiful thing about what she's saying, like, she's like, I'm got your slot and I want to honor it. And I want to honor it by doing what you do and doing it the right kind of way. I kind of fucking love that. in the continuity of the Pixies, that made sense to me. So to me, I fully accepted Paz from the beginning, pretty much. And then once I saw her live, and she was doing that like weird shuffle thing that she does when she's on stage, and just saw how she fit with the band, I was like, dude, this is fucking great. They renewed energy, renewed like new lease on life for the Pixies after Kim Deal, truly. After 2 years of road work, the Pixies made Paz a full member of the band. They also invited her, and I love that too. I love that they made her. Again, I saw some comments online talking about, the boys club. I saw it in the comments here too. The boys club, and it's always, they seem to eat through female bass players. But the reality is like, they didn't have to make her a full-fledged member. They could have just kept her as a hired gun, and she would have been happy to have been a fucking hired gun. She would have been happy to do it, but they brought her into the studio. They didn't need her in the studio to do that. They could have done it themselves, or hired someone, or hired her. But they brought her into the studio to record. They want to be a fully functioning band, the Pixies do. They invited her into the studio to record 2016's Head Carrier with producer Tom Dalgetty. On the album, she sang and co-wrote. That's the name of the song. All I think about now. At Paz's urging, Thompson wrote the lyrics. Remember when we were happy? If I'm late, can I thank you now? It was an open letter to Kim Deal, and it's a beautiful song. It's a beautiful, beautiful song. Paz played a larger role in the writing of 2019 Pixies album Beneath the Eyrie. She's credited as a co-writer on Los Surfers Muertos, Long Rider, and On Graveyard Hill. 3 fucking tracks. That's more than Kim ever got. She last recorded with the Pixies on 2022's Doggerel. Her final show took place September 17th, 2023 at the Hollywood Bowl in Los Angeles. Damn. Paz's departure comes ahead of a very busy period of touring with the Pixies. Their upcoming European tour will feature complete performances of 1990s Bossa Nova and 1991's Trompe le Monde at every stop. On May 31st, they are kicking off a long series of American dates with Modest Mouse and Cat Power. See, that's my problem. I would love to, if I lived in Europe, I would see them in Europe, but I don't want to see Modest Mouse or Cat Power. The ticket's going to be so much more expensive, and now there's no Paz, and that kind of bums me out. They head back to Europe in late summer, opening for Pearl Jam in Australia at the end of the year. So that's the article, right? That's what the article says. And now, before we move on and discuss what we think might have led to her being fired, because as I mentioned, we didn't read the statement either. We should read the Pixies. Here's the Pixies statement as well. Well, let's take a quick break for Riot stickers, and then we'll come back and talk about the rest. So we'll be right back. We've got a new sticker deal at Riot Stickers. That's right, folks. We are starting a brand new promotion here at riotstickers.com, and it is for die cut stickers. What exactly is die cut? What does it mean? It's time for Sticker Science 101. Basically, you got your regular stickers, right? But we introduce a new element with the die cut sticker. Basically, what you do with a computer-guided scalpel. That's right, computer-guided scalpels. Isn't that a great band name, Computer-Guided Scalpel? I love it. You can cut the exact shape of whatever your design is. So whatever you got going on, whatever its borders are, there's no borders, there's no limitations. You take your computer-guided scalpel and you just cut around the edge and you get, voila, a die-cut sticker. So in addition to the UV coating that protects from the sun, in addition to being printed on vinyl, which makes them weatherproof and waterproof, you can now have the exact shape that you want. Well, you always could, but you couldn't for a price like this. For $69, you can get 200 die-cut stickers. There are some people out there who are die-cut fanatics. They need die-cut stickers in their lives. You are not going to find a better deal than this. Now, there's only one place you're going to find this incredible die-cut sticker deal
for $69. 200 stickers for $69. And that's if you go to the link down in the description. You go to riotstickers.com/Frumess. That's riotstickers.com/Frumess. What? Sharpie Riot, have you lost your mind? Have you lost your mind? These prices are insane. These prices are Crazy Eddie level prices. If you know Crazy Eddie, then you might be old. You might be older than me. You're probably way older than me. You click on the link, you do the thing, and you get your die cut stickers. Do not hesitate to get this deal, okay? And without further ado, Future Jeff, roll the 60-second Riot sticker commercial. Go, do it.
We make stickers, banners, and buttons too. Posters and promo cards. There's nothing we can't print for you. From stage backdrops to bass drum heads. We can print on shirts. We can print on hats. We can print on pants. Cheap prices and high quality. Quick turnaround times and free shipping. We also offer free artwork support. Great customer service and so much more. RiotStickers.com. Riot Stickers, we are the bomb. RiotStickers.com. Riot Stickers, we are the bomb. RiotStickers.com. Riot Stickers, we are the bomb. RiotStickers.com. Riot Stickers, we are the bomb.
And that's a promise. Okay. What is the statement? What was said? What was said by the Pixies? Let's take a look. We're going to the Reddit. Okay. Here is the Pixies Reddit. Here's the official statement. Here's the official statement from the Pixies. Paz, who joined the Pixies in 2014, has exited the band to concentrate on her own projects. We're grateful for Paz's many contributions and wish her all the very best going forward. Oof. 10 years, traveled around the fucking world. 2 fucking lines. They give her 2 fucking lines. That might be as brutal as a fax machine. Might be. I mean, that is brutal. And then the person who's replacing her gets 3 lines underneath. She gets 3 lines. We are delighted to welcome Emma Richardson on bass. Emma will be making her worldwide touring debut with the Pixies on the first night of the Bossa Nova and Trompe-l'Oeil European tour, beginning this Friday in Dublin. See you on the road. Lala, love you, Pixies. Damn. That's cold. That's fucking cold as fuck. Now, online. How do I get back? Let me get back. I don't know what I did here. Here we go. I saw online in a Facebook Pixies group. A lot of people were quick to sort of look at Charles because Charles has had problems. He had problems with Kim. The band, I guess you could say the band collectively had problems with the second Kim, and now Paz is out. So 3 female bass players that's weird, man. It is kind of weird when you look at the optics of it. Like when you look at the optics, it's a weird observation. Okay. However, and what is the dynamic? Like it's Charles's band, right? I don't know what the dynamic is between the three bros, the 3 dudes, David, Joey, and Charles, but quite clearly Charles is, Charles calls the shots, and Charles is the leader of the band, and so I would imagine whatever it could have been most likely had to do initially with Charles, because if Charles didn't want Paz to leave, she would not be leaving, right? Ultimately, here is where, so let's go into the comments of Reddit and see what people say. So right off the bat, we kind of get a smoking gun. she's been posting MAGA content on social media, and I'm sure it was tiresome for the actual members of the band. Her firing was overdue. Someone else writes, really, I was curious and skimmed through her Instagram. I didn't see any red flags that pointed towards her falling down the pipeline. Not even a follower of any of the grifters. At least I didn't notice any of them in her follows list. People are not seeing anything either. For those of you who are unaware, Charles, Frank Black Francis, is, absolutely, as many of us do, detests MAGA, overall, MAGA, Trump, all of it, just the whole thing. He's been very vocal about his feelings and where he stands and this, that, and the other. And so I could easily imagine, apparently here's someone else says, additionally, giving away Pixies merch to support a January 6th insurrectionist probably didn't help her position in the band. I guess I missed when that happened. Somebody else writes, I don't know the whole story, but she kept defending Ariel Pink on Instagram, who is another, indie rock guy that, a lot of people have a problem with because he leans right. He leans alt-right in a MAGA kind of way and was there on January 6th, this, that, and the other. I don't see the post anymore. She was getting into it in the comments with fans. At the time, I was thinking, Charles isn't going to like this. And whoever this Redditor comment person is probably right. That is probably the Occam's razor of the situation. Paz was, saying some MAGA type shit or defending some, MAGA assholes or whatever. And that directly, and here's the thing too. And here's like the weird thing about all that. Like, you go, oh, she was canceled. This, it's like at the end of the day, she's 1/4 of the Pixies. The Pixies represent themselves in a certain way. So she is directly associating herself while also associating with Charles and the rest of the band in a way that does not reflect the band's values. What kind of strain does that put on the band? Ultimately, as much as I love Paz, she is an ingredient. She's a life-saving ingredient that was brought into the mix. But, ultimately at the end of the day, if she's poisoning the well with MAGA shit, how does that affect the band chemistry? How does that affect the band dynamic, especially when the band feels another way? What do you end up doing? Is that a deal breaker? Apparently for Charles, it's a deal breaker because they sent her fucking packing over it. I mean, do I know that is this definitively what happened? No. I mean, I don't know, but I think this seems to be the most likely reason as to why she was pushed out. She's been posting MAGA comment on social media. Yeah, we already read that one. Seems like she got fired. Yeah, for sure. She got fired, dude. And it's a bummer, man. It's a bummer. It wasn't her choice. She clearly she's clearly stating, and I do appreciate her saying that. Like, she's acknowledging that she was pushed out. It kind of, you just got to read a little between the lines to see what most likely happened. I didn't even know about the MAGA shit, but no, I know one thing. I follow Frank Black, Charles Black Francis, whatever. And like, I know how fucking angry and upset he gets about that shit. So if you have someone in your band sort of like, going in that direction while you're in this direction, I mean, how does that, again, think about the songwriting, think about like them working as a band together, like the music chemistry. How does that does that not poison everything? Does that not like sort of, it is, unfortunately, we live in this age of tribalism where, beliefs like that have just alienated and polarized. Like, if this was 20 years ago, maybe it would have been more amicable. Maybe it would have been easier to negotiate. But after 2016, after everything that we've seen, like when you align yourself with this shit, it like when I see people align themselves with this shit, it makes me put them on a certain shelf. Like, I think about them in a different way. It makes me question their thought process in their brain, like straight up. I'm sorry. That's the truth. And if you listen to this channel and you're one of those people, like, I mean, I'm glad I don't know about it. Like, not like I'm gonna like, fucking, dress you down or anything, but I will, I think about you in a certain way. Like, it makes me think about you in a certain way. I just don't fathom. I just don't understand. I just don't understand that thought process at fucking all. I don't get it, man. I just don't get it. So it bums me out to hear that Paz is potentially, on that side of the fence, man. It fucking sucks. Like, I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't change anything that I said up to this point in the show. I fucking love Paz, and I love what she contributed to the Pixies, and I almost wish that she could that this is something that could be sort of swept under the rug, but sadly, I don't think it is. I don't think it's possible. Here's the comment I was referring to, by the way, that I had read. She says, I'm aware, yes, or someone says, I'm aware, yes. I'm also aware that Indie Cindy is an unfocused mess of an album and needed direction. I'm aware that when she joined, that's when they found new ground and started experimenting with a sound they were only vaguely familiar with and finally settled into a new groove because of her and her influence. So for 10 years of duty, she deserves way more than a statement without prior knowledge or consultation. The guys should be ashamed. I have to 100% agree with that, okay? Despite everything I just said about like MAGA people and like being bummed out about MAGA, everything that was just said in that statement was 150% true. She did 10 years of duty. She fucking added so much to the band. To give her 2 fucking lines, that was cheap, man. That was fucking cheap. That was not cool. And here's the thing, like, quite clearly she was fired because to oust your bassist on the eve of a fucking tour. I mean, something must have happened. Here's what I think. Something happened. There was a fight. There's been brewing, simmering tension. And Charles is ultimately like, this is my fucking band. And if like, you're not going to fucking toe the line, then fuck you. Like, get the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? Like, something between September, maybe it was even earlier than September. Something happened and they must have been butting heads or pushing back and forth. The band made an executive decision to tap someone else, to get someone in line that quickly. And as they had a bassist ready to go as they made that statement. They changed that over so quickly. It was surgical what they did. Surgical. This was a premeditated excision of Paz out of the band. Let's see what else people say. If there's anything else. Someone said the announcement sounds a little too corporate for my taste. Here's another Reddit post. Let's see what they say here. If anybody says anything, think Black Francis Center of Facts. I've heard that joke like 100 times today. It's in reference to the fact that when Frank Black broke up the band, he did so by way of facts. He didn't let them know at all. He was just like, the band is broken up via facts. Fucking cold as fucking ice. Cold-blooded. So yeah, hold on. I'm sorry. I'm just looking to see what else. Even as a fan that was madly in love with Paz, I have a feeling that it's going to be a big move in the right direction for the band. Interesting observation. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't think it's possible, man. I think they really hit their stride with Paz, and the fact again that they have an album in the can with her. I hope that they do release it. I hope those recordings do come out. She did a good job. She did a fucking great job. And it's so fucking sad. I'm so sad that she's gone. I am. Ultimately, I'm sad. And I mean, that's really it. I don't, and it kind of sucks. Like, I mean, what a fucking gig to be the bass player of the Pixies like that, traveling the world. And, here's the other thing too. I should have mentioned this earlier. They were so incredibly tight as a band. They found such a way to connect with Paz, and they knew the catalog inside and out in a way. And I've heard, I heard interviews where they were just like, yeah, we just I just call out the songs. Frank Black Francis says, I just call out the songs, and there's a microphone. I don't know if people have seen it. There's a microphone. He turned, but that's right behind Charles, and he turns around and he calls out the song into their in-ear monitors so they know what to play. So there's no set list. So the band has gotten to a point where they have probably, I'd have to imagine that their songbook, that their working songbook, meaning like what they have in their repertoire, like polished and ready to go at any given point, has to be in excess of 120 songs, which means that at any given time, they can make a set list out of 120 songs, which is absolutely unreal. I mean, it's really unreal. Maybe even more than 120 songs. And the fact that they got a bass player that can groove so well with them that they can call out, he can call out and go, let's do this, and they could just work through. They used to do things. They used to do their set lists in alphabetical order, and like they would do all sorts of goofy, weird sort of tactics with their set lists in the 2000s. They got bored. And now it's just like, we know this, we know everything. When I saw them live, I think the last time I saw them, in fact, last time I saw them was in 2019. I think, did I see them after that? No, I think 2019 at the Brooklyn Steel. It was the last live show I went to before, the world shut down in 2020. And they played all of Beneath the Eerie. I heard the entire album live, and I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful that I did. And it was just like, it was scattered throughout the set. And in fact, the Pixies love putting out live shows. And it's like, dude, pull all of those and put out Beneath the Eerie live. That would be pretty freaking cool.